Hello guys, welcome to another episode of my thought process series. Today I am playing Ramattra against a duo of top 5 players, Hadi and Herloaf. Without wasting any time, let's get right into it. First of all, I start my rotation by exiting from the right side door all the way to the mini room to avoid any spam damage from main and get to the position I really like playing around on Ramattra. Before I commit to any strong decision, I take my time to analyze the comp of the enemy team and their positioning on the map. When there's a Ramattra versus Ramattra matchup, it all comes down to who uses Nemesis form better. Nemesis form is a very strong ability, not because it can pierce through enemies, but because of the additional armor and block. The combined damage mitigation allows Ramattra to play very aggressively and remain unpunished because he can always walk back to safety holding block. If two Ramattras ignore this very fact, stand on main and mirror each other's actions, both of them rely on their teams to deal more damage and heal more, something that no tank player should ever do. So how can you use better Nemesis form than your enemy? Be greedier with your ability. If the enemy Ramattra uses Nemesis form early and you manage to dodge the form while simultaneously dealing staff damage, then by the time his form is over, you will have HP advantage, you can pierce through his shield and get a kill. How can you be greedier? Ramattra's primary form is effective both at close range and long range. Meanwhile, the Nemesis form can realize its full potential only ever at close range. Therefore, if it is possible, you should take advantage of this very fact and create distance between you and the enemy Ram and Nemesis form. By creating distance, I don't necessarily mean physically going far away. Walking back to cover is enough. Map space can be divided into the safe zone and the dangerous zone. The dangerous zone is where you're exposed to way too many enemies and where your team cannot see you. As you may have guessed, what's your safe zone is the enemy team's dangerous zone and vice versa. There's a fine line between the safe and the dangerous zone. I like to call this line the limit. As long as you play around the limit, you are fine. In this case, if I had gone out in the open, I wouldn't have died immediately since I still have my Nemesis form, but I would face tank 4 people with no help from my team because they are getting zoned out by the enemy Ramattra, who feels very comfy in his safe zone while I am suffering as I have stepped over the line. In reality though, I stay in my safe zone and the enemy Ramattra respects it and doesn't go over the limit. But I have an advantage because the enemy Ram used his Nemesis form very early near the limit, which allowed me to stay safely in my zone, making his Nemesis form ineffective because he cannot punch and there is no damage to block. When I peek the enemy team when the Ramattra's form is almost over, I see multiple green flags that show me that the limit has shifted. Besides the Nemesis form, Woyang used both of his abilities and joined his team from the flank. Kiriko used Tuzu, Bashir used his turret form. All of this makes the enemy team move since this area is not their safe zone anymore. The problem is I cannot go all into the enemy team because in that case I will sever the connection with my backline and yet again face tank multiple people. So instead I just play slow and wait for my team to move. What is shooting me? Tracer. Once my team is there, I go in. As I said earlier, fighting Ramattra face to face nullifies my impact, so I go for his backline instead. Besides me straight up whiffing my pummels, there's something else that catches my attention. And it is the fact that Bastion is feeling very comfortable standing out in the open and me not receiving heals, which can mean only one thing. My team is simply not there. So I go back to safety holding block and turn around to see if I'm right. And yep, my team is indeed not there. Now before I go in again, I want to get healed and slowly walk from main, but my Genji found the kill on Kiriko, so I have to move ASAP. Since I still don't have my Nemesis form and we only have Zen and Kiriko heals, I want to minimize the amount of damage I take by flanking from behind and sandwiching the enemy team. The structure of this room allows me to flank this aggressively without my Nemesis form because my shield can give me full cover from wall to wall. But all of this doesn't matter because my Gota team just kills everyone. And you know, I am not an exempt from making mistakes. I could have easily killed this Ramattra if I didn't use Nemesis form immediately off cooldown. What I did right though is I respected the limit, because if I had kept chasing, I would have been 20 kilometers away from my team, out in the open dying to long range spam damage. Also, before we proceed further, I just want to let you know guys that from now on, I will pick 2 to 3 questions from the comment section of the previous video and answer them at the end of the next one in a little Q&A section. So if you have any questions for me, then drop a comment and I will respond in the next video. Anyways, back to the game. My Zenyatta died and unfortunately I was way too late on realizing that, which cost both my life and my Kiriko's life.
Get out.
Unfortunate. Now before I make any backline shenanigans, I want to make sure that this gate opens, because if it doesn't, my team will barely have a line of sight on me. So currently my objective is to banish this Ramattra away from point. The gates are open, so now I can finally do whatever I want, but since this Ramattra is clinically out of position, I want to focus him down and continue with my work. Whenever I go deep into the enemy team, I keep in mind how exactly I'm going to kite back after. In this case, I just go back to the staircase and take Mega.
Okay, only Kiri heals and their own payload.
Here, realistically, I am not getting any kills, so I just want to force out some cooldowns before the next team fight begins. Forced out round shield and Bastion's turret form, mission accomplished, I go back.
I'm done pushing the enemy spawn.
Come back, don't worry. The Ramattra here is kind of killable. Don't mind. I'm coming Payload. There's no reason for me to stay out in the enemy Kitsune rush, so I just go back.
Just force cut until it's in bridge.
Here is the example of the better Nemesis form usage. I held onto my Nemesis form by immediately taking the Mega when Ramattra started walking inside. This forced the enemy Kiriko to use both of her abilities to save her tank, so although this is a dangerous zone, I press my ultimate to push the created advantage. Ramattra and Wuyang are stuck in that room, so I test if I can kill them, but they have enough resources to survive it. So instead, I drop on cart and leave them stuck in our backline. As long as they fight me, they waste my time, which is good for them. But if I take this opportunity away from them, it forces them either to walk this entire bridge all the way to the point, wasting their time, or drop to the bridge and get separated from their team. So basically a win-win for me. There's no guarantee that this Kiriko doesn't have teleport, but it's still better than fighting the enemy Ramattra. After the payload hits the checkpoint, I immediately go further to potentially create a snowball, but at the same time I respect the enemy area and do not step over the limit. I have no business giving Ramattra free ult, so I'm getting out. My Zen died, so I want to play it slow, but we find a trade, so I consider going in. When I realize that Ramattra is close to my team, I put my shield up to block his heals and focus him with my team. Unfortunately, my Kiriko also dies, so it is time to get out.
Get out, you're missing every heal. Get out, get out, get out, get out, get out, get the f out. Or are you going in, Genji? Get the f out.
Very secure. Just pause probably. My team keeps on dying, so I go all the way back to get fully regrouped. Honestly, I am not exactly sure if using the Nemesis form here was a good idea, because technically speaking, the staff damage combined with the perk deals more damage, so I could have probably killed Ramattra with my staff, but my intention was to pierce through him to kill Wuyang. Can we go card?
Go card.
I acknowledge the fact that Ramattra is in my backline, so I cannot play aggressively because my team is busy with the enemy tank and cannot support me if I am in trouble. So I play it safe, push the payload and scare the backline away so they don't contest it.
Just gonna probably force rank.
Now that Ramattra is trying to run away, I use my Zen's Transcendence as a tool to stay out in the open and body block Ram's way out. Nice.
Close ring. Oh.
Bash on top. Now looking back at this fight, I'm thinking maybe I should have focused Wu Yang and pressed my ult early, but it doesn't really change the fact that my Zen died in Kazakhstan and Genji did not in fact follow up on the Bastion.
They group up.
There's no thought process behind this ultimate, this is just a stupid play.
Oh, we just go with Kitsu now and run over the Ramattra.
I mean, he's gonna live there. Ana Wuyang, that's gonna use every cooldown.
Honestly, this next fight is cooked because we didn't force out Tracer and for some reason used Kitsune rushed immediately without scouting the enemy team's position, which resulted to my Zen dying to Tracer and Sojourn dying to Sniper Bastion.
3, 2, 1, go, go.
Bastion on top. I'm gonna match them.
Guys,
Oh, we're all dead.
why are we not playing? Why do you want to face tank a Ramattra when there's a Bastion and Tracer on doing whatever the fuck they want? Either Kitsu early so we can clear the Bastion and Tracer as well, or just don't Kitsu into Ram when there's like 4 people behind us.
Well, to be fair.
I really don't know. I think we just go next. I CBA. I'm just gonna leave voice chat so you guys can play.
I barely understood what he said, but to be fair, there was like only Tracer behind us at most. This next round, we're gonna start off by throwing our Vortex for some extra wall charge. Looking back at this fight now, I think I made it way too easy for the enemy Ram to take space. Instead of sniping my projectiles 50 meters away from them, I should have been closer to the enemy team, either by standing left side or defending the right side. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to like, subscribe and join my official Discord community where you can also find information on coaching sessions and VOD reviews. Follow me on Twitch, and if you want to contribute more to the growth of the channel, consider joining my YouTube membership, which gives you early access to new videos, shoutouts during credits, recordings of coaching VODs, behind the scene footage and a lot more. If you're an enjoyer of my art, check out my second channel Redeznt PMG where you can find my art related content. Thank you for your attention and enjoy the video. What can I do, man? Ramattra walked in on Zenyatta and Kiriko. Killed both of them alone. I want to hold the payload at the gates, but I can't allow myself because my team keeps on dying. Bruh. The 115 latency doesn't help. Now that we finally found the kill, I can drop on card. I see that Ramattra is behind me, but I much rather prefer zoning off his backline while contesting the payload. My main source of heals is dead and my team is very far away, so I decide to just join them. I really want to contest the payload, but I can't just drop on Bastion and Ana while there is still Ramattra in my backline. So before I go in, I try to force him out. Now that Ramattra is out, I'm coming to the payload, although I'm still staying on the high ground because we lost 2, but unfortunately I get betrayed by my own Vortex. My damage clearly doesn't do anything and I cannot contest the card, so I'm just going back to my team. While I'm standing in between Ramattra and Bastion, I take damage from two sources simultaneously, so I have to commit to one of the fights. Obviously, I go to the fight that is closer to the objective, so I wait a little for the payload to come closer and then I pop my ultimate. Since my team is in no position to help me and this Bastion is using payload as cover, there's not much I can do besides just contesting the payload and keeping my ultimate connected to Bastion. Bro, kill him! Oh my god. Infinite HP, man. I'm quite confident to get away from the payload because I saw Tracer leave, which means there's no threat of backcap. Although I want to be close enough to the payload so I don't get trapped behind the enemy team when the fight starts. What is happening? I switched to my Nemesis form. Here I forgot that I had the Redeznt Vortex perk, which essentially means I shouldn't have waited to get closer and hit the wall. I could have just exploded the vortex in the air. My Kiriko just died, which means I can't step off the payload or play aggressively, so I will try my best to minimize the amount of damage I take and just survive on payload. And I can do it primarily just by walking around the payload and dancing around cover. Considering how close the payload is to the checkpoint, and the fastest way to get there for the attacking team is through castle, I'm getting ready to meet the enemy team at the entrance of the castle.
Bro, what the fuck?
We use Kitsune Rush, which means I can play more aggressively inside there, but I take more damage than I shoot, so I switch to my Nemesis form. The enemy Ramattra uses his ult, so I use mine to stop him. They have numbers advantage in this fight, so all I can do is hold block, tuck in the corner, keep my ultimate connected, and pray for my Kiri. Bro, I'm 20 HP. Oh, tragic. We almost had Transcendence. You may ask me why I stood in the corner instead of walking to my Kiri. Considering how the enemy Ramattra had HP advantage, there was a high chance that he may just run over me and shoot my back. In that case, I would be exposed to either him or Bastion. So I tried to position all the incoming damage in front of me and gambled on my Kiriko. Once again, since I'm the only character that can truly stay on point, I will not follow Ramattra or chase anyone off point. My role here in this fight is to contest till my last breath.
Ram low behind, right side. Kill him, please.
I can't step away, from point.
Yeah, I know. But Ram has to die.
Yeah, he's probably all the way back. Wait, never mind, he's on point. Focus him, focus Ramattra. Lucio? Nice, good job guys.
Nice.
Alright, so for today's section of Q&A, there's only one question. Did you name your channel like Redeznt or a variation of Redeznt? Actually, none of those. My nickname is pronounced as Redeznt, and this is basically a remake of the word iridescent. And this is the name of a Linkin Park song, which inspired me a lot. And at first, Redeznt was a name of one of my original characters. Some of you guys might know that I'm an artist, and there's like this one character that I created, and his name was Redeznt. Later on, I changed his name, so there's no confusion. This character still kind of lives in my head. I haven't yet drawn him because I don't really have much time for it. But this very song of Linkin Park captures his spirit quite well. The red-haired broski that you see on my profile picture is also my original character, although this is not Redeznt. This is Godzilla, and originally his hair is pink. I just rebranded him for my YouTube. That's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments. All the links down in the description. You guys know how it is. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.